Straight north.
Yeah, Highway 11 straight, right around, bypass Toronto.
They let you into Toronto? I heard they were talking about letting people back to Canada.
As of October 1st, there's no more arrive can and there's no more COVID requirements. Everything is
We are
off.
live streaming.
Okay, welcome everybody. Tonight's agenda, we have Dave actually here doing the,
Yes.
for, I did it for you last week, so we're gonna
Yeah.
swap these. So hope you're feeling better.
Yep.
24 pre-filed resolutions, no suspended resolutions, one public hearing. We have 2 executive sessions, one being on proposed or pending or current litigation, and then something under the police department, under number 2. So with that, I'll see if, Ed, do you have anything that you want to report?
Yeah, just a quick update on a bunch of little things. Senior Center, still working on the environmental stuff. I ended up having to go to Washington to the Bureau of Indian Affairs to get contacts that we need with 2 of the tribes up here, which I got today, actually, finally. So Senecas are done. I got to deal with the Tonawondas and the Seneca Cayuga tribe. Took care of the airports. They both gave me their mapping, so hopefully we're gonna wrap this environmental stuff up in the next week or so. Sterling Place Ponds, the bid book is done. We'll probably seek a resolution at the next meeting for bidding. Streetlights, just what I've seen going around town, PCG's doing a pretty good job of getting them back up. Most of them, I mean, they're out there every day. I know Panora got a lot of them back up, William Street got a lot of them back up. Seems to be, system seems to be working.
Did we get the software yet, Michelle?
I was out all week, I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't answer that. I did, have Megan call, and she wanted, Rex to take it over. They were going to call, but email was still coming to Highway, so.
Okay.
I will find out tomorrow when I'm back, but we did send everything over to Carmen.
Yeah, he made some phone calls. I don't think the software was there yet. I just, if you knew of it.
I don't think it's definitely not on our systems either
Okay.
yet, so.
And there's not a lot we can do without that software to see where the stuff's down and see whether it's just something that needs to be done, whatever, electronically, or whether we got to actually dispatch somebody, correct?
Correct, in order
Okay.
to field the complaints or the lights out or any of it has to go through that software. So until that's up and running, we can't really do anything with the complaints that are coming out and with like the outages.
You got any update on that, Ed, or
No, last
Tom?
thing
You
I-
guys were talking to him, right?
No,
Okay.
last thing I saw
Would
was-
somebody reach out to him and see?
I can, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when it's coming. Thanks.
What's that, Ed?
No,
sorry.
sorry, it's okay. Real quick, I know, Tom, you were out last week. I got some feedback from Tony that you and I can sit down and talk about the historical building and keep that moving along.
I'll just check that off my list.
The parkland off of Partridge Walk, or the piece down there we looked at. We did a wetland walkover last week. There's a 0.7 acre of wetland in the southwest corner that they identified. The rest of it was clear.
How big is it?
The total parcel is 6.5 or 7 acres, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So there's a little piece of wetland in the one corner. As we move ahead, that'll have to be actually, this was just a cursory walkover. They'll come back out and do an actual survey of it and flag it, and, when we do a survey, that'll all get picked up. But, so, with that, it's, what's the pleasure for the next step? I mean, that was the first thing I wanted to make sure that we weren't getting ourselves in trouble with wetland out there. It was pretty wet, but it wasn't wetland, which was good. My suggestion is at this point, we probably have it surveyed with topo and boundary, so we know what we got, and then you can actually start laying stuff out and playing with things if you'd like.
Well, I'd definitely like to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, even if we don't move on it, I think it's,
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, it's not a real big parcel, and most of it's deciduous, so it's a good time of year to get out there and try to survey it, so. Dog control, fence is done, survey is done, just need to get the mapping on the as-built, that's finished up. So, they got the little piece to fix on the floor yet, and the little piece of the galvanizing to take care of, so.
Now, are they looking at the galvanizing on every single one to make sure that that's coated? Because, I mean, it's only been used technically since
Yeah,
we
it's
got
hard-
these dogs.
It's hard to say. The problem with the galvanizing is that it's affected by the welding of the fabrication. And sometimes the welding takes the galvanizing off, sometimes it doesn't. And it's hard to say until you see it. Greg says he has no problem. If it shows up, he'll be right out there to fix it. That's not the problem. But, until you see it, you don't know what's gonna happen. And it's just.
And the work that's been done has met the requirements, has it not?
Yeah, I mean, everything is done per the grant.
Okay.
The only thing we need is.
All the
final-
stuff afterwards,
But at this time, the state would ding us on that rust, on that gate. So that the flooring has to be finally done. And we were waiting on the guy, he was on vacation, and then now this rust happened, that has to be fixed before that can be inspected, the final inspection by the state. Because they'd fail them on that, because there's rust on the fencing, on the dog fence.
that's just rework then of original work that has to be corrected then.
Right, yeah,
Correct.
yeah, Greg's going out to take care of it, yes.
Yeah, did you see the email from Bill Gummo? on
Yep,
that?
I forwarded that over to Greg.
Okay.
Yep,
Different way of doing it,
yep.
possibly
Yeah,
a better.
it's different material, different type of, same material, different application method, really. Library renovations, assume tonight that gets pushed forward, so that'll be back out to rebid this week. And then, just, everyone was aware, upcoming bid dates that we've got, tomorrow is the opening for the Simi Road culverts. October 6th is the traffic signal backup systems. The 13th is the police flooring. And then the 27th will be a library rebid.
A lot of activity in October on bids coming back.
Yeah, there's 4 different bid dates, yeah, so. November will be busy with getting them all in for awards. That's all I got.
Okay, Matt?
This morning, I turned in the MS4 report for the month of September. We spoke about it during our drainage committee meeting. We have that RFP ready to go out for the next meeting on those ponds. Good news, we did verify the stormwater facilities that were off of the auction block are on for October 6th. So we'll be able to take ownership of those and to maintain them properly. Other than that, that's it.
Got anything from the clerk's office?
No, for collecting taxes, they're due on the 17th without penalty. The next day, there'll be a big penalty. They give you a couple extra days because the 15th is on a Saturday, and we will be in the office collecting on the 15th.
Thank you. Bob? No?
Thank you.
Nothing from our captain?
Can I say anything? Or?
Not at this session.
Okay, I didn't know.
Right, do it.
Yeah, Michelle, anything from,
Just that highway got the machine, started the retention ponds. There is a video in all of your emails, if you'd like to take a look at it. We did do, I think of the name of the street, down, William at Transit. On the right, what did I tell you about? Can't think. Lakesburg, we did that one today, that retention back there. We're tremendous. Now we're over on Plum Bottom off Steinfeld, doing that area with this machine, and it's working great.
okay?
So we hope to make headway there now that we have that. So thank you for that. John did send you an email.
Yeah.
Yep, seen that. Anything else?
No.
Pam, from finance? Budget's in? Yep, so, okay. All right, then, anything from Eddie?
I do have one thing. So starting probably June-ish wise around Enchanted Forest, Pine Tree, Windsor Ridge, that big area, we were getting hit a lot with power outages. There was one that somebody hit a transformer, but Bob and I did speak with NICEAG, and they are aware of that problem, and they're working on it. They're making changes so that whoever's listening, NICEAG is aware of it. We have a contact that will be in contact if we have any more to see what they're going to do to rectify that situation. It was taking, they took the service from one area and actually moved it, and that's when the problem started. So they're working on it.
I know, Matt, you answered that gentleman that's been calling every day, your email, that specifically addressed every situation that he came up with.
Yes.
So just, and, you know, again, I was told not to call him back, and he, as he threatened with an attorney and at one point, so, you know, he calls our office every day, my office, wanting to speak with me,
I've got a bunch of emails there too, but I did not address them once I saw your letter out.
yeah. I-
Yeah,
I
we
just,
we
you know,
mailed it
we
out
talked about that.
Thursday, and, yeah. So hopefully, you know, he's got some answers to his questions.
Yeah, again, it ends up being a neighborhood,
Yeah, and it's just, you know,
and-
there was a legitimate concern with the stormwater infiltration.
Yeah, no,
which,
right,
you know,
right.
hopefully it's been addressed at this point.
again, I was told to back off of this, to our attorney handle it, and well, I have not returned his call as per the advised, so, he said he's gonna call every day until I call him back, but the answer is, I've been advised not to speak with him, so. Anything else from anybody? Okay.
Not at this time. Not at this time.
Yep, okay, so we'll break, we'll cut back at 7 o'clock, and sir, I don't know if you want to speak about a resolution, that would be in the beginning? Just a general topic, that'll be afterwards at the end.
Okay, thanks though.
Yep, yeah, we have to do it that way to stay in order. Good. Good victory by the Bills yesterday, we're back on track.
At some point, if you don't meeting, you can let me just
At the beginning? Yeah, so we'll do that right away. Yeah, right,
Has a partially fenced back there.
formality. Okay,
Okay, live streaming will stay on.
Over here, neighbor comes over and goes, you taking care of that space between the fences? I said, "Is it yours or ours?" I don't have a survey, I don't know. No, it's yours. I said, okay, well, I said, I'll probably just take the fence down. I said, oh, I said, I don't need it. I said, I can go right up to your fence. Oh, okay. I said, might make it easy. It's a spot I can't even get them over to, you know. You know. I don't know why they did it that way anyway. They just didn't.
Dave on my calendar.
I'm glad you talked about that, because Kelly emailed me.
We're working on it. Well,
Yeah,
I just want to take it a step at a time.
Yeah, no, I agree, 100%.
Every day, if you are ready.
Yeah, if you put them in a paper bag too, I understand with a banana, there's the potassium gets them going, but we got so inundated, right, because I had 2 plants come from the seeds right this year, and then I planted 2 plants. We had to put them all in the oven, we dried them.
And there, it's in there, right.
Warmed it up with provolone, mayonnaise, and the rest of it. Then I go to get this thing out, I'm good for the week, I don't have to eat.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
one shelter.
November they're gonna put them.
No, I agree. Thanks for doing that. I was teasing Todd, I was telling him, you know, he was home and then he was down in Miami. I'm like, do you ever work? You know, he's like, ah. Yeah. But, you know, right now he's empty nester, his kids are all older, so what you can do. Yeah, he goes, Mr. Todd's old. He does get around, he's back in Buffalo, which is good for Christine too.
Apply for it.
Yeah.
Oh, he does, oh my God.
It's a cookie.
He has a chicken wing at the Swanee House downtown.
The rest of it may not happen with the rest of it.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Frank's good, shows up, let him know.
And that's actually when I had COVID, that's when he said, come on down to the school or something, like it was trivia night or something. I said, I'm not going there. I said, okay. Just starting to feel better, I'm not going there. I'm gonna take a chance to get somebody sick. So,
That's 2 tomorrow.
yeah, he's the other night. believe it. I went Tuesday, I had to go to my, Monday night, it was Monday night football, the Bills game. I came home, and I had gotten this flu shot at school. And then I came home, well, I don't feel right. Well, it's just a flu shot. So the next day, I had my knee meeting with the orthopedic guy, and gave me a quarterback job. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to get it. I said, just be careful. I had already, the doctors, I had to call them and tell them. And sure enough, I had it in this week called school. Well, and they said, you're off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then the following week,
Okay.
yeah, and I, you know, and now I'm thinking, I want to get the booster. The COVID booster. I mean, I have antibodies. So I don't, yeah, I have to wait. So I don't know how I'm going to be, but. You run in the group time.
I didn't confirm they weren't hired for a reason.
He might have it. So just be on the safe side. I think he's.
5 years, 3 years, right? Think you're gonna do that?
I'm feeling, so I'm not feeling all day.
These young kids think they're in laws. Oh, yeah.
And then I started. A handful of kids that got There's 4 of them. That's why I think. And unfortunately, pick something up, high five, pick something up, like,
They have to go at their own rate.
told my 2 coaches, that's it, I'm not high fiving any more kids this year. Yeah, I don't care how good they do. Football, yeah, and then in the spring, that's in the.
Never get their spring address. Thinking here,
Like,
he called me up. Wrong guy. You gotta go to the assessor. I think what's there?
or down the system, coach from last year.
And I love the address to sign for private street. The address that you do. Okay, I wasn't sure if you were the assessor up here. We need to do something.
All of the East Coast trying to get, usually on the weekends, but it was that's gone, so he's graduated,
Yeah, whatever they.
so it's a little bit easier, although she thinks she can second year.
All right. Now,
She transferred specifically.
I didn't realize this. Something. Right. That's what I didn't realize.
Not that she didn't have one.
Still need that.
And her work remains 2 years, this will be the 3rd year.
Wetlands, if you had that as part of the package, they're going to sign up, which is fine.
So they made that decision.
Odds where the buffer is.
And then she had to switch her major, she was health sciences. Now she's in
Lighting miles. You just can't use it. I was only sketch. Probably should they need to go any further.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny,
They got,
That's what I stopped years ago. And I talked to them, no, we're not going to shoot it. Guess what? Everybody got fired. I think they got money from the state. My guy that emailed?
it was that really, an ear, he's like, yeah, hour, 15 more minutes, we've been home. I said, why did the guy stop?
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely, it's all about the control, I agree.
Yeah, that's what the discussion was for last year. I said, it's a utility in the right of way. There's no PIP. How it is to do anything. I don't know, because they're cutting the permit, because they're cutting the road. They're not cutting the road. Deal with them, yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, it shouldn't be. No, I did not. I was watching the Lancaster game on my TV because it was on. I'm sorry, the Iroquois game was on YouTube, so I was watching the Iroquois game on TV on the YouTube TV, and then I was watching the Lancaster game on my phone.
But the Iroquois visits, you put that on the big TV.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, they're number 2 in the state for small schools.
How was that freshman quarterback?
He's pretty good, but he's a freshman. They have
Who in the state, Lancaster?
no Iroquois for small schools.
Because I wouldn't think Lancaster would be a small school.
No, they were Iroquois is for small schools.
Yeah.
They have a running back that's
He played Little League when I did, so my son Griffin's League, he 11th grader.
okay. Trevor Berry.
He's 11th grader.
Yeah,
Because he used to run all through high school.
he's 6'1", 230 pounds, and they have a big, he's strong, and he got a big line too. He's a good lacrosse player too. Yeah, he's getting. Yeah, that was a big crowd.
Maybe it's a good thing.
They should.
Yeah, as long as it's schedule-wise, as long as they can fit him in. What happened is, so many teams dropped out of AA. That's, Jamestown's not in AA anymore.
Did you say they created a AAA now?
Yeah.
Next year, which
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what, you're gonna have 2 or 3 teams, that's it.
is just Lancaster and Niagara Falls in this area.
And then for lacrosse, it's gonna be this coming fall, or spring, I mean, it's Buffalo, us, and Kenmore.
You gonna travel out to Rochester?
Pardon?
You gonna travel out to Rochester
Who?
for lacrosse?
We've done it in the past, yeah.
I'm just saying, because, I mean, I know they have a huge lacrosse.
Oh, yeah, it's huge there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've played, when I coached, we played Rush Henrietta, and we played,
McQuaid?
no, not McQuaid, we played Pittsford Mendon, or Pittsford, and they combined for lacrosse. They're separate for some sports, Pittsford Sutherland and Pittsford Mendon, and then for lacrosse, they combine.
Yeah.
And we played Penfield in the sectional or West Regions a couple of years ago. Yeah, they're good.
Does Rochester have any AAA schools? They have some big schools in Lancaster?
I don't know, maybe Fairport, I don't know.
Pittsburgh Child.
Well, there's Gates Child, Pittsford, there's Pittsford Sutherland and Pittsford Mendon. They're 2 different high schools, 2 different schools. But they do combine, like I said, for men's lacrosse, they combine, yeah.
Are you the head coach for Lancaster? Head coach?
Not head coach, assistant for lacrosse, yeah. So, no, with Madeline still playing, it's too hard to,
Did the head coach step down?
yeah, Dan did step down. But Chris Dixon's gonna take it over. Yeah. Julie just keeps reloading.
It's not steroidal. So you never eat it.
Yeah, it's huge. And her daughter that's a freshman,
For the what?
or no, 8th grader,
Okay.
So you can utilize it
Oh.
here, but you don't want to use it all the time.
and the one that's like a 5th grader is even better.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna be unbelievable. Yeah, oh, yeah.
Inflamed.
Okay.
So the flow
It might be there as well.
doesn't do that.
Okay.
Saturday, breakfast?
Yeah.
I'm good. I'll send the time. To Mark and 9 o'clock.
Sounds good.
Man, as long as we're just chatting here in a work session, so to speak, is there anything you need out of me for that? The code amendments? Or we're still just waiting for the, yeah.
They pushed it off their planning board minutes. They put it on for the 19th for some reason. I don't know why.
I saw some emails to that effect, I just wasn't sure.
They,
if it was something.
yeah, there's 5 items on the agenda, but 5-minute conversation on it.
Okay.
Tomorrow, man, on Wednesday, I have a game, so I'll probably be last minute to the planning board. It's a home game, so I can get out of there. Pretty close to 7.
And, I mean,
But I did forward the email about taking a look at, I think it was the code stuff to Neil. Lisa sent me an email, she said, please have the planning board talk about these issues, and I forwarded it to Neil.
They decided to push it off to the 19th.
Oh, he did? Oh, okay.
We're still in the window though, right?
I think so. I didn't check, but I'm pretty sure we
When's the public hearing on that? Or didn't we set it?
said it.
They have Bennett and they have Orchard Park still. That's a tough 3 in a row there. Canisius, Bennett, and OP. Oh, did they?
Wow.
Wow. Yeah,
So that's this Friday?
yeah.
All right, I'll be making popcorn there and selling popcorn. Rarely get to see any of the game because there's so many people that come up to the concession stand and want popcorn and stuff, so.
Well, you make it so good, that's the
Well,
problem.
that's it, no, not a single complaint.
You don't have
Mr. Fuddrucker.
There's no time to look at it.
It's my next profession.
He's the popcorn man.
Now I gotta remember to take trunk stop.
We didn't go through the resolution.
Oh, I don't know.
You gotta
good
put
point.
it next.
Yeah, I think we did. It's pretty straightforward today. You have any issues?
Nope.
It is.
Hopefully it's stone roof and grass. That's usually
Yeah, I would check.
Who do you want somebody to do it?
original place. Where the hell it started. Never did anything. Yeah. To get this thing up to speed, and that's for these this way.
Who's got an office time?
Dan Smith. Still doing it. Dan Smith's up there, that's an engineer. You had that good phone before you get it, you found it from Europe. That's all it was. Oh.
That's what Chris keeps pushing back. We don't need it for the fire department. We don't need it because we don't need a permit. That's for the permit.
Give me a name, last name.
These are the changes that are coming in to be prepared for.
Did, I tell the US place, they started clearing it anyway, Smith Building, they did. Yeah. Okay. So I told Carmina is doing this with, so I said, yeah. They do it, they do it in the letter. That's good.
Can you stay for executive session? Right there.
Oh. What? Yeah, no, I'm sure they should have plans.
Chiefs out west, they get, no, open up.
I laughed like a moment to get
See that big LP?
he did the water pollution, Pleasant View, part of transit there to the school a couple years ago. Fought. They made us put it in cat ramp. Concrete.
Good.
It was asphalt. So we'll put asphalt. No, it's gotta be concrete.
I'd like to bring the meeting to order. And would you please do a roll call?
Councilmember Burkhart.
Here.
Councilmember Dickman. Councilmember Leary.
Here.
Councilmember Mazer.
Here.
Supervisor
Here.
Rupino.
Here. The pledge and the invocation will be done by Councilmember Dave Mazer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In lieu of Hurricane Ian, which ravaged the U.S. territory of Puerto Rico and the state of Florida last week, I offer the following prayer to our fellow American citizens. We pray for the people of Florida and Puerto Rico. We pray that the restoration of their communities will be fast and forthcoming. Pray not only for the restoration of their physical communities, but the restoration of their hearts. We pray that our Creator will give each community the strength to help each other and rebuild and come together and love and support one another.
Yeah, it's unfortunate the damage that was sustained. I think they call it a 500-year storm, which is, unprecedented in our time for sure. So tonight we have 24 pre-filed resolutions, no suspended resolutions. We have one public hearing, which would be on the Community Block Development Program. We have two executive sessions, one being under, our town attorney is going to actually advise us on some of the proposed or pending or current litigation on one, and then we have an employee thing that he's going to update us on in the police department. And we don't have any good news. We don't have anybody to close in memory of, so it was a nice week. The Bills won as well. So with that, we got a couple of minutes. So does anybody want to address the town board on any of the 24 pre-filed resolutions? No, that's for a second time and a third time. Okay. Get a couple minutes for public hearing. So any official reports? Ed, anything you want to talk to?
No, I'm reporting the work session.
Matt, anything?
Nothing more
Your
than a
end?
work session.
Okay, anything for everybody?
Yeah, for the library, it called upon Michelle Barbaro to talk about, they took down a tree that was a big hazard over there for quite a while. So Michelle, if you could talk about that a little bit, what's being done?
Sure. So over at the library, the back step area and the concrete at the back door has been destroyed basically because the water is flowing up to the stairs. It was not letting sunlight into the building to work the heat shields in the winter. And we're draining down the hill with 4-inch pipe, and we're putting in an extra receiver to drain the water before we lay the cement, in order to preserve the life expectancy of the whole project, and the water will run away from the building.
Yeah, at some points, they had to shut down those stairs, so it's good that we're doing this at this point. Thank you.
We'll have to shut the parking lot down a little bit. I'm working with the director of the library on that. We're coordinating the best time available, so if it's closed for a few days, you're aware of why. Okay?
And on behalf of the Drainage Committee, Adam wasn't able to make it. We did have a Drainage Committee hearing just before our work session here. The Highway Department is sending out notices to the people in the town regarding some drainage issues in their area that they're coordinating with our code enforcement officer. That'll be taken care of. Michelle's going to get us a copy for the town board so we can see that. And there were some nice compliments for Code Enforcement Officer Fischione during that hearing as well, for his assistance to some of the people here in the town of Lancaster.
Okay. We have several, okay, by the time I read this, we should be good. Okay, we're going to go into the public hearing. Can I have a motion to open the first public hearing, which is on the Community Block Development Grant Program?
Motion to open the hearing?
May I have a second?
Second.
On the roll?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, I'm going to read the legal notice. Legal notice is hereby given that pursuant to a resolution of the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster adopted on September 20th, 2022, a public hearing will be held on the third day of October 2022 at 7:05 p.m. local time at Town Hall, 21 Central Avenue, to hear all interested persons regarding the use of federal community development funds in the Town of Lancaster. The Town of Lancaster is eligible for a federal community development grant under Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended. The purpose of this hearing is to provide an opportunity for citizens to express community development and housing needs and to discuss possible projects which would benefit low and moderate income persons in the Town of Lancaster. Citizens are urged to attend this meeting to make known their views and or written proposals on the Town of Lancaster selection of potential projects to be submitted for possible funding by the Federal Community Development Grant Program. The hearing will also present a review of prior community development projects and expenditures and a discussion of eligible activities. The meeting room is wheelchair accessible. Those needed special arrangements should call the town by October 3rd. So with that, does anybody want to speak on this? I know Mary Beth is here. In our township, really, the only thing that qualifies for this is the senior center. And Mary Beth usually comes up with a list of items in need that would, that we submit for projects. So, would you like to say anything at this point?
Okay.
Yeah.
The next big project that we're looking at is a electric room divider. Currently, we have one big room in the senior center, and with so many members and so many activities going, we currently have one electric divider. The second divider is a manual divider, and it is 6 panels that are 8 feet 3 inches in length and 10 feet 6 inches in height. We have to manually push each one of those dividers. And it was not a big deal in years past, but now that we have so many members and we're so busy, we are opening and shutting those doors numerous times a day. And honestly, someone's going to get hurt. They're very, very heavy. So we are looking into doing that. I did get a quote from D.V. Brown and Associates. Right now, his quote is $136,000 for it. We would have to take out the existing structure. They'd have to put in the new structure. The grant, we have up to $150,000, that's our max, with a 10% match, recommended match. So there's plenty of room in that grant. I talked with Anthony this morning, and he talked to the grant committee. They said this project would qualify So that's what I'm looking at right now.
And so everybody knows, I do sit on that committee, and we chose to raise it from 100 to 150,000 because the cost of everything now is so substantial. And, yeah, we'll be able to fund less projects, but we'll be able to fund a little bit more monies towards the projects that are selected. I think they're trying to shift some things around where we could not lose as many projects. But we did raise it to 150,000, so everything that comes in is pretty much, about that, so.
Yeah, so I think when all is said and done, especially, we don't have the final number of the electrical components yet, but we believe that we'll be able to get it done within that $150,000 threshold. And that's something that'll be utilized for years and enables us to hold more activities, which,
It's not saying we have to spend 150. If you put up a project that's gonna be, 80,000, 90,000, it still qualifies, but it's just, a lot of the projects that come in now are gonna be over the $100 mark, $100,000 mark that we had set before, so,
yeah. So that's what we're looking at,
okay,
so.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else like to speak on this public hearing? I'll ask for a second time and a third time. May I have a motion to close this public hearing?
Motion to close?
May I have a second?
Second.
On the roll?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, Diane, you have an announcement that you'd like to make?
Yes, I'd like to officially present the 2023 tentative budget to the town board.
Okay. Okay, and that, was submitted on time. Friday was stamped in. The 2023 budget had many challenges to overcome, especially with the high cost increases of the gas pump, as well as our essential utilities. We're noticing an increase that we didn't budget enough last year for, our heat and electric and things of that nature because of the increase. I think, Michelle, I know you put in your budget a lot more for the 2023 because obviously we had to move money last year, or for this year, from last year's budget for this year, because of the fact that we just weren't covering those costs because of the uptick in this. So you'll see an uptick across all departments to cover these increased rates. We were under the tax cap. I'm happy to report the budget came in under the tax cap. We had to make some adjustments to some of the departments as we can't fully fund everything due to budget constraints. Everybody asks for everything, and I have to put in what I feel, what we see fit that would be the best use of those dollars. We did add a couple positions, GS coordinator, which we've been talking about for years, and that's really, we eliminated the part-time position. So it's really not a full ad. It's basically, the part-time position is no longer going to be there, and they'll be looking to hire a full-time GIS coordinator. We're adding back in a dispatcher, the 12th dispatcher, into the 2023 budget. And with all the grass cutting in that, we added a fourth part-time labor in parks for 7 months. We've had a lot of issues with, you heard earlier about a drainage committee. We've had numerous issues with drainage in the town for the last number of years. So we put some money aside and allocated it to support taking care of some of the drainage complaints that we've had throughout the town. I felt it was critically necessary to budget some of these dollars to address these issues. And again, it's a very conservative budget. I don't take things lightly. I know our comptroller, Kevin Hartwood, set out a letter. There's things about the sales tax kind of driving down. The state's doing some things that may take some of our sales tax revenue away. So, I'd rather plan for the future and have enough funds versus being in trouble. So that's all I have. Anything else from anybody? We're all good?
Yeah, we'll possibly have some changes to that budget recommended by other members of the board, but we'll have those to the supervisor and to the board in a timely manner, and plenty of time for the public hearing, for the public to review.
Yeah, I did send an email out to all the board members. I showed them all the changes and so on and so forth, and didn't get a response back from anybody, so.
Well, okay, time out. My understanding was you said we would have time to discuss this, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to follow along with what you said.
Okay, very good.
And that's our plan. We do have some changes that'll be coming in there, and we'll go forward with those, like I said, in a timely manner.
Okay, well, again, like I said, we could have a discussion, and we could have made those changes prior to me submitting the budget if we all agreed to.
We just got your budget on Friday. It's Monday, okay? We saw what was done in there. You gave us some heads up, but until we see it actually in the budget, we can't make those recommendations. So again, I'm not trying to be, fight with you on this. I'm just telling you, we're probably going to have some recommendations in there, what we think needs to be in there as well. And we'll have those to you in a timely manner, and they will be public to everybody to see them.
Very good. Okay, we're going to move on with our resolutions. I'd like to move resolution 1. This is out the minutes of the regular meeting of the town board held September 20th, 2023, being hereby approved. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 2. This is out the following audit claims, being hereby ordered paid from the respective accounts as per abstract to be filed in the office of the town clerk by the assistant to the supervisor. It's check run number 100-32022. Total amount hereby authorized to be paid $2,851,104.93. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Councilmember Mazur, number 3.
Yes, Mr. Supervisor and honorable town board members, our following resolution, move for its adoption. Be it resolved that the following building permit applications are and hereby reaffirmed. There was a total of 47, 38 in the town and 9 in the village. There is 6 fences, 6 roofs, 6 generators, 5 pools, 5 sheds, 1 deck, 1 fireplace, 2 porches, 3 alterations to residents, 1 solar panel, and 2 alterations to cell towers. That was in the town. And in the village, we had 2 decks, 3 roof replacements, 1 deck, 1 residential alteration, and 2 dumpsters. Now therefore be resolved that the building permit applications herein coded CSW for the conditional sidewalk waiver being hereby affirmed with a waiver of the town ordinance required for sidewalks. However, the waiver is granted upon express condition. The town of Lancaster at any future date reserves the right to order sidewalk installation at the expense of the property owner.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 4, whereas the supervisor of the town of Lancaster has recommended to the town board that Monday, October 31st, 2022, between the hours of 6 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. be set for the observance of Halloween trick-or-treat within the town of Lancaster. Whereas the supervisor of the town of Lancaster has consulted with the mayors of the villages of Lancaster and Depew, who have indicated their approval of the aforementioned date and time of Halloween trick-or-treat. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby declares Monday, October 31st, 2022, between the hours of 6 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. as the official period during which Halloween trick-or-treat activities may be observed within the town of Lancaster. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Councilmember Mazur, number 5 and 6, please.
Yes, Mr. Supervisor and honorable town board, I offer the following resolution, move for its adoption. Whereas by resolution adopted February 19th, 2019, the town of Lancaster and the Lancaster Central School District entered into an agreement for the placement of 3 police officers as school resource officers within the district, and whereas the town and the district have discussed options for further enhancing the safety and security of the district's facilities, increasing community engagement, and creating increased police presence on district grounds and within district facilities, and whereas the town and the district agreed that an officer liaison program with the district to be referred to as the school liaison officer program will meet the mutual objectives described above, and whereas the district has agreed to pay the town a fee of $40,000 for the SLO program to cover the 2022-2023 school year based on the town invoicing the district biannually per the conditions contained in the agreement. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby approves initiating a school liaison officer program and authorizes the town supervisor to execute on behalf of the town the memorandum of understanding for the school liaison officer program agreement dated September 12, 2022, as presented, allowing 4 town police officers to be designated as school liaison officers and be assigned to one of the 4 elementary schools within the town, providing a daily visit during their scheduled shift as town police officer while school is in session, beginning September 6, 2022, and terminating June 30, 2023, with the option to extend the term for 1 year, pending the extension of the current SRO agreement.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes.
Resolution number 6, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, I offer the following resolution, move for its adoption. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster previously held a public hearing pursuant to Section 400-78 Special Use Permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster upon application of RecMaster Incorporated for a special use permit to operate an outdoor vehicle recovery training area and storage yard on the premises located at 5550 Genesee Street in the town, and the board issued such special use permit on September 17, 2018, for a 2-year period, and whereas by letter dated August 25th, 2022, Justin Cruz, President of RecMaster Incorporated, has requested the town board renew the special use permit for the additional 2-year term, and whereas Matt Fashone, Town Code Enforcement Officer, has inspected the property and found it to be in compliance with site plan and prior special use permit approval conditions, and with Section 400-18 of the Lancaster Town Code per his letter dated September 14, 2022. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. Number 1, the pursuant to Chapter 400 zoning, Article 5, Commercial District 418B1A, General Commercial District of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster does hereby grant the special use permit renewal to Justin Cruz, President of RecMaster Incorporated, to operate an outdoor vehicle recovery training area and storage yard at the premises located at 5550 Genesee Street in the Town of Lancaster, upon terms and conditions as set forth in the zoning ordinance for the period beginning September 17, 2022, and ending September 16, 2024. And 2, the applicant will continue in compliance with the conditions set forth in Section 400-18 General Commercial, Section 400-19 Supplementary Regulations for LC and GC districts, and 400-78 Special Use Permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, and to any additional conditions listed herein, as long as the applicant continues to engage in the occupation listed above on the premises, namely, A, areas utilized for training will be maintained as grasslands. Occupants will be required to pave the area if the vegetation deteriorates. B, unregistered vehicles will be stored in the rear lot area as shown on the approved site plan when not in use. C, permit must be renewed every 2 years at no additional cost to the applicant. Renewal is considered upon the property owner submitting a written request to the town clerk on or before September 16, 2024. And D, provide a copy of the business's federal and New York State employer identification number.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Councilmember Burkhart, you have number 7.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board. I'm offering Resolution 7 for adoption. Whereas Town of Lancaster Detective Lieutenant Sean Domino has requested to purchase new holsters and magazines for use by all the town's sworn law enforcement officers. And whereas the equipment is available from the New York State contract number PC 68737, Group 35200, award number 23155, through state contractor Safari Land LLC, from authorized dealer United Uniform at a cost of $9,046.98 per their quote dated September 1st, 2022, which eliminates the need for competitive bidding pursuant to Section 103 of General Municipal Law. And whereas the town board has given consideration to Lieutenant Domino's request and deems it appropriate to purchase new holsters and magazines. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town board of the Town of Lancaster hereby authorizes the purchase of new holsters and magazines under the New York State contract through New York State contractor Safari Land LLC, from authorized dealer United Uniform, 495 North French Road, Buffalo, New York, for an amount not to exceed $9,046.98 per their quote dated September 1st, 2022. and which will be paid for with funds made available in the 2022 public safety budget.
May I have a second
Second.
on the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 8, whereas Detective Captain Jeffrey D. Smith of the Town of Lancaster Police Department, by letter dated September 21st, 2022, has requested authorization for 3 members of the Lancaster Police Department to attend the Fire Arson Investigation Seminar in Montour Falls, New York, from November 15th to the 17th, 2022. Now therefore be it resolved that Detectives Thomas Bulaire, Jason Batt, and Grant Gumsher of the Town of Lancaster Police Department are hereby authorized to attend this seminar. Be it further resolved that the total cost of attendance for the 3 detectives at the above-mentioned training course is hereby authorized in an amount not to exceed $1,180 for actual and necessary expenses, including the cost of registration, lodging, travel, and meal expenses for 3 days on the specific dates of training. And be it further resolved that all requests for reimbursement must be presented in the original form, itemized receipts for actual and necessary expenses upon submission of proper documentation to the accounting department of the Town of Lancaster. May I have a second
Second.
on the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 9. Be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Lancaster hereby authorize the Town Supervisor, Youth Bureau Executive Director, and Program Coordinator to execute the annual memorandum of agreement with Damon College Division of Health and Human Services Department of Social Work and Sociology, Bachelor of Arts in Social Work program, which will allow college interns to participate in a field education program under the supervision of the program coordinator within the Town Youth Bureau to be retroactively effective August 28th, 2022. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes, Councilmember Leary, you have number 10.
Yes, sir. Mr. Supervisor and honorable town board members, I move the following resolution for adoption. Whereas Code Enforcement Officer Matthew Ficione, by letter dated September 22nd, 2022, has advised the town board that the department no longer has use for a 2007 Chevrolet Equinox LS 4x4 with approximately 58,000 miles on it, and has therefore requested that the town board deem this vehicle to be surplus and permitted to be placed on an online auction. And whereas the town board has given due consideration to the request of the code enforcement officer and deems it in the public interest to declare the aforementioned 2007 Chevy Equinox to be surplus and permits placement of said vehicle up for public bid on an online auction. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby declares the aforementioned 2007 Chevy Equinox with approximately 58,000 miles on it to be surplus, and authorizes the code enforcement officer, Matt Ficione, to place said vehicle up for public bid with Auctions International on an online auction site with offices at 11167 Big Tree Road, East Aurora, New York, starting on or about October 7th, 2022, and concluding on or about October 21st, 2022, with the funds received from said auction to be made payable to the town of Lancaster and delivered to the town supervisor's office to be deposited in building department's operating budget.
May I have a second
Second.
on the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 11. And this resolves that a public hearing is hereby called and shall be held on the 17th day of October 2022 at 7:05 p.m. here at Town Hall, 21 Central Avenue, at which time and place this town board will meet to consider the special district's budget for the year 2023 and to hear all persons interested in the subject matter thereof and concerning the same. And 2, that a legal notice of said public hearing be published in the Lancaster Bee on October 6, 2022, which notice shall be in the form attached hereto and made part hereof, and which date of publication is not less than 10 nor more than 20 days prior to the public hearing. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question. On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 12, whereas Ron Rufino Sr., Budget Officer of Town of Lancaster, on September 30th, 2022, duly filed the tentative budget of said town for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2023, with the town clerk of said town. Now therefore be it resolved that the tentative budget without modification is hereby approved and shall become the preliminary budget of the town of Lancaster for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2023. And be it further resolved that the said preliminary budget shall be made available by the town clerk to the public for inspection during the regular business hours of the office of the town clerk. Be it further resolved that a public hearing on the preliminary budget of the town of Lancaster for the year 2023 be held by this town board at the Town Hall, 21 Central Avenue, Lancaster, New York, on the 17th day of October at 7:05 p.m. local time. Be it further resolved that a legal notice of said public hearing upon the 2023 preliminary budget, as required by Section 108 of the Town Law of the State of New York, be published in the Lancaster Bee on October 6, 2022, which notice shall be in the form attached hereto and made a part hereof, and which date of publication is not less than 5 days prior to the public hearing. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart.
Question for you on this. Okay, I just want to be clear. It says in here without modification is hereby approved. This is just the tentative budget. The actual preliminary budget will be after we have our public meeting, won't
It's
it?
tentative, and then it'll become the preliminary,
Yeah, but there may be modifications in there, is what I'm saying.
after it becomes the preliminary budget, yes. There could be modifications after the public hearings and
Okay.
so on and so forth.
Very good.
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Leary.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur.
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino.
Yes, Councilmember Mazur, you have numbers 13 through 15.
Okay, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, off the following resolution, move for its adoption. Whereas Autopia LLC, on behalf of S&G Properties LLC, has petitioned the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster for a rezone of a parcel of land located at 6218 Broadway, Lancaster, New York, from agricultural residential to light commercial for the proposed construction of an 8,000 square foot building with office space and storage of vintage and collector cars, and whereas the petition has been referred to the Planning Board of the Town of Lancaster for its recommendation and was tabled their July 6, 2022 meeting, pending the results of the Town Board's public hearing. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to Sections 130 and 265 of the New York Town Law, public hearing on the proposed rezone will be held at Town Hall, 21 Central Avenue, Lancaster, New York, on the 17th day of October 2022 at 7:05 p.m. local time, and that the notice of the time and place for such hearing be published in the local newspaper of general circulation in the town, said town, and be on the town board, bulletin board. And that notice of such hearing be referred to the Erie County Department of Planning pursuant to Section 239M of the General Municipal Law, which notice shall be in form attached hereto and made part hereof.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Leary.
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur.
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino.
Yes,
Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, off the following resolution, move for its adoption. Whereas the Town Board is considering a two-lot minor subdivision application submitted by Lucas James consisting of an existing 3.08 acre parcel previously created from a 45.9 acre parcel located on William Street in the Town of Lancaster. And whereas Town of Lancaster Planning Board has reviewed the environmental impact of this subdivision project pursuant to seeker regulations at their meeting on September 7th, 2022, and recommended that a negative declaration be issued. And whereas the Town Board has duly considered the plans for the subdivision using the short environmental assessment form, criteria for determining significance set forth in seeker regulations, and such other information deemed appropriate, including the recommendation of the Town of Lancaster Planning Board. And whereas the Town Board has identified the relevant areas of environmental concern, has taken a hard look at these areas, has made a reasonable elaboration on the basis for its determination, and whereas the proposed action has been labeled an unlisted action under seeker. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster, number one, the project is described as a two-lot minor subdivision submitted by Lucas James consisting of an existing 3.0 acre parcel previously created from a 45.9 acre parcel located on William Street, will not result in any large and important impacts, and therefore it is an action which will be not have significant adverse impact on the environment. For this reason, the town board issues the attached negative declaration of the environmental significance for the reasons stated therein. 2, the town clerk shall file a copy of the negative declaration filed for this project. 3, the town attorney's office shall prepare and file a notice of determination of non-significance with the petitioner and with all required New York State and Erie County agencies following a copy of letter of transmission. And 4, this resolution is effective immediately.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes.
Resolution number 15, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, I offer the following resolution, move for its adoption. Whereas Sharon Bateman of Centerline Communications LLC and American Tower LLC has submitted an application for the special use permit on behalf of Verizon Wireless for telecommunications tower co-location to be placed on the current tower located at 00 Transit Road, SBL number 93.05-1-2.131, which will be identified as Verizon site name, Bowmansville, Verizon site number 693772 in the town of Lancaster. And whereas Chapter 400 zoning, Article 14, Administration and Enforcement, subsection 400-78, special use permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster requires the town board to conduct a public hearing before the issuance of a special use permit for the proposed. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to section 400-78 of the zoning code of the town of Lancaster, a public hearing on the proposed special use permit for Centerline Communications LLC with American Tower LLC on behalf of Verizon Wireless for a telecommunications tower co-location to be placed on the current tower located at 0 Transit Road, SBL 93.05-1-2.131, which will be identified as Verizon site name, Bowmansville, Verizon site number 693772 in the town of Lancaster, New York, will be held at Town Hall, 21 Central Avenue, Lancaster, New York, on the 17th day of October 2022 at 7:05 p.m. local time, and the notice of said time and place of such hearing be published in the official newspaper of general circulation in the town and be posted on the town bulletin board, and then a copy of such notice of hearing be referred to the Erie County Department of Planning pursuant to section 239M of the general municipal law, which notice shall be in the form attached hereto and made part thereof.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 16, be it ordered that a meeting of the town board of the town of Lancaster will be held at the town hall here at 21 Central Avenue on October 17, 2022 at 7:05 p.m. Prevailing time or shortly thereafter to consider said increase in improvements of facilities of the districts and to hear all persons interested in the subject thereof concerning the same and for such other action on the part of the town board with relation thereto as may be required by law, and be it further ordered that the expense of said increase and improvements of the facilities shall be financed by the issuance of a serial bonds of the town in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $1,350,000, said amount to be offset by any federal, state, county, and/or local funds received, and unless paid from other sources or changes, including but not limited to water rents, the cost of said increase and improvements of facilities shall be paid by the assessment, levy, and collection of special assessments from the several lots and parcels of land within the district, with which the town board shall determine and specify to be especially benefited thereby, so much upon and from each as shall be in the just proportion to the amount of benefit conferred upon the same, to pay the principal of and interest on said bonds, as the same shall become due payable except as provided by law, and be it further ordered that the town board may establish water rents as provided in paragraph B of subdivision 3 of town law section 198, and be it further ordered that this resolution shall constitute the declaration or reaffirmation of the town's official intent to reimburse the expenditures of said increases and improvements of facilities with the proceeds of bonds, notes, or other obligations as required by United States Treasury Regulations sections 1.150-2, and be it further ordered that the town clerk publish at least once in each newspaper designated as the official newspaper of the town for such publication, and post on the signboard of the town maintained pursuant to subdivision 6 of section 30 of the town law, a copy of this order, certified by said town clerk, the first publication thereof, and said posting to be not less than 10 nor more than 20 days before the date of such public hearing. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rafino?
Yes, Councilmember Leary, you have number 17.
Yes, sir. Mr. Supervisor and honorable town board members, I move the following resolution for adoption. Whereas by resolution adopted on September 20th, 2022, the town board of the town of Lancaster accepted the proposal for sealing and restriping of the Lancaster Library's parking lot project located at 5466 Broadway from Ace Sealing Company Incorporated, 16 Birchwood Common, Lancaster, in the amount of $3,815 as presented by the Deputy Highway Superintendent. And whereas due to an administrative oversight, the Ace Sealing Company did not have the required permit to provide this service for the town, and whereas the town board of the town of Lancaster has reviewed this matter and determined that the September 20th, 2022 resolution should be amended to include language requiring, at a minimum, that an application for a special use permit be applied for by Ace Sealing Company Incorporated prior to any work commencing. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the resolution adopted September 20th, 2022, authorizing Ace Sealing Company Incorporated to seal and restripe the Lancaster Library's parking lot located at 5466 Broadway, be and is hereby amended to include the following. Work shall not commence until the appropriate special use permit has been properly applied for with the town of Lancaster's town clerk's office, and reimbursement for any materials or services provided shall be held pending issuance of said special use permit.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rafino?
Yes, Councilmember Mazer, 18 and 19, please.
Yes, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, I offer the following resolution and move for its adoption. Whereas the Town Board has previously duly advertised for the submission of bids for the furnishing of approximately 95,085 square feet of bluegrass sod for the Brickyard baseball field within the town of Lancaster Westwood Park, and whereas one bid was received, opened, and reviewed on September 28th, 2022, and whereas by letter dated September 28th, 2022, Deputy Highway Superintendent Michelle Barbaro has recommended awarding the furnishing of approximately 95,085 square feet of bluegrass sod to Batavia Turf, being the sole responsible bidder in the amount of $29,476.35. And whereas funding for the furnishing and installing approximately 95,085 square feet of bluegrass sod for the Brickyard baseball field within the town of Lancaster Westwood Park will be paid for with funds available in the 2022 recreation filing fees account. Now therefore it be resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster is hereby awards the bid for furnishing approximately 95,085 square feet of bluegrass sod for the Brickyard baseball field within the town of Lancaster's Westwood Park to Batavia Turf, 6465 Transfer Road, Elba, New York, for a cost of $29,476.35, being the sole responsible bidder in conformance with the specifications on file, and which will be paid for with funds available in the 2022 recreation filing fees.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rafino?
Yes.
Resolution number 19, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, I have the following resolution, move for its adoption. Whereas the Deputy Highway Superintendent has notified the Town Board that maintenance work consisting of installation of sod using 2 sod installers with smooth flat tracks and final laser grading using a T770 leveling system needs to be done at the Brickyard baseball field within Westwood Park in the town of Lancaster, and whereas Deputy Highway Superintendent obtained 2 proposals for the maintenance work for the Brickyard baseball field in accordance with the town of Lancaster's procurement policy, and whereas by letters dated September 12, 2022, the Deputy Highway Superintendent has recommended that the town of Lancaster award maintenance work for Brickyard baseball field at Westwood Park to Rich's Sports Fields Incorporated in the amounts of $7,606.80 for the sod installation and $8,100 for the final laser grading per their quotes dated September 4th, 2022. And whereas funding for the Brickyard baseball field maintenance work is available from the town's recreation filing fees account. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board, town of Lancaster hereby accepts the authorizes supervisor to sign the proposals for the installation of sod using 2 sod installers with smooth flat tracks and the performance of a final laser grading using a T770 leveling system to be done at the Brickyard baseball field within the town's Westwood Park to Rich's Sports Fields Incorporated, 110 Pavement Road, Lancaster, New York, 14086, in accordance with their quotes dated September 4th, 2022, for a total amount not to exceed $15,706.80, which will be paid for through the town's recreation filing fees account.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Councilmember Leary, number 20, please.
Mr. Supervisor and honorable town board members, I move the following resolution for adoption. Whereas Edward Schiller of William Shutt Associates, P.C., the town of Lancaster's consulting engineer, has requested that the town board authorize an invitation to bid for Lancaster Public Library employees' restroom, kitchen, and hallway renovations within the town of Lancaster. And whereas the town board has given due review and consideration to the request and deems it in the public interest to invite public bids in conformance with general municipal law, Section 103 of the state of New York, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby authorizes an invitation of public bids for various interior renovations at the Lancaster Public Library, located at 5466 Broadway in the town of Lancaster, and be it further resolved that the issuing office for the bidding documents is Avalon Document Services. Prospective bidders may examine the bidding documents at the issuing office or at the offices of William Shutt Associates Construction Exchange of Buffalo and Western New York, or Dodge Reports. Copies of the bidding documents may be obtained from the issuing office beginning at 9 a.m. on Thursday, October 6, 2022, and completed bid documents are to be received in the office of the town clerk, 21 Central Avenue, Lancaster, New York, no later than 10 a.m. local time on October 27, 2022, and open thereafter.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question?
Just so everybody knows, the library is going to be paying for the renovations. Basically, we're taking care of the bidding process for that.
On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Councilmember Mazur, number 21, please.
Yes, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, I offer the following resolution, move for its adoption. Whereas the Town Board of Town of Lancaster previously held a public hearing pursuant to Section 478 special use permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster upon the application of Town RE6 LLC on behalf of Town ABW Incorporated, doing business as Audi Buffalo for a special use permit to operate an automobile dealership, which includes mechanical servicing and body repairing of motor vehicles on the premises located at 6501 Transit Road, Bowmansville, in the town of Lancaster, and where the board issued the special use permit on December 21st, 2020 for a 2-year period, and whereas by letter dated September 12th, 2022, Michael Castron, controller of the Town Automotive Group, has requested that the town board renew the special use permit for an additional 2-year term. And whereas Matt Bashone, Town Code Enforcement Officer, has inspected the property and found it to be in compliance with Section 400-18 of the Lancaster Code for this type of service, per his letter dated September 22nd, 2022. Now therefore it be resolved as follows. Number 1, the pursuant to Section 400- Chapter 400- zoning, Article 5, Commercial Districts, 418B1A, General Commercial District of the Code of Town of Lancaster, the Town Board, the Town of Lancaster does hereby grant the special use permit renewal to Michael Castron, Controller for Town Automotive Group, for a special use permit to operate an automobile dealership, which includes mechanical servicing and body repairing of motor vehicles on the premises located at 6501 Transit Road, Bowmansville, in the Town of Lancaster, upon the terms and conditions set forth in the zoning ordinance for the period beginning December 22nd, 2022 and ending December 20, 2024. And 2, that the applicant shall be continued in compliance with the conditions set forth in Section 400-18 General Commercial District, Section 400-19 Supplementary Regulations for LC and GC districts, and Section 400-78 Special Use Permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, and to any additional conditions listed herein, as long as the applicant continues to engage in the occupation listed above on the premises, namely, A, permit must be renewed every 2 years at no additional cost to the applicant. B, provide a copy of the business, federal, and New York State tax employer identification number, and where required, a copy of a valid New York State license issued by the appropriate regulatory agency for the service being provided. And C, applicant will authorize representatives from the building inspector's office to enter the premises upon reasonable notice to inspect the premises to verify compliance with this permit.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 22. Be it resolved that, one, that the Town Board of Town of Lancaster hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute the agreement with People, Inc., which was formerly Southeast Works, to financially support a program for developmentally disabled adults residing in the town of Lancaster as clients of People, Inc., to access developmental, pre-vocational, and work activity training programs together with evaluation, tutoring, and development of self-help skills, personal training, recreation, and counseling. Two, that the sum of $1,000 will be paid by the town to People, Inc. from the 2022 mental health budget. Three, this agreement has been approved by the town attorney and is further subject to approval by any appropriate state and county agencies or departments where such approval is mandated by law. And be it further resolved that the 2022 adopted budget for the town of Lancaster being is hereby amended to increase appropriations in the mental health budget to fund the above service as follows. So I'll transfer from, it's general fund townwide, transfer from 1.909 and transfer to mental health A 4230.411. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. I'd like to move resolution number 22. It resolves the following individuals are hereby appointed to the following part-time permanent position in the town of Lancaster Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Department, working not more than 19 3/4 hours per week, and that these being part-time positions provide no health insurance, sick days, vacations, or other fringe benefits not specifically mandated for part-time employees. The four people are all Lancaster residents: John Cook, Kyle Backert, Connor Mahoney, and William Chicali. Be it further resolved that Supervisor of the Town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazur?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes, and Councilmember Burkhardt, you have the last one, number 24.
Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board, I'm offering Resolution 24 for adoption, whereas the Town of Lancaster's Police Department has been awarded a $40,000 grant by the Division of Criminal Justice Services, which includes federal support for the FFY 2018 Burn Memorial Assistance Grant to be allocated for the purchases of a new radar trailer and new fingerprint processing equipment. And whereas the Detective Captain Jeffrey Smith has solicited quotes from 2 vendors for the purchase of 1 new cyanoacrylate fuming chamber for processing of evidentiary fingerprints in accordance with the Town of Lancaster's procurement policy. And whereas by letter dated September 27, 2022, Captain Smith has recommended the Town of Lancaster accept the quote from MyStar, Inc. for an amount not to exceed $7,775 per their quote dated February 15, 2022. Now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby approves the purchase and installation of 1 new cyanoacrylate fuming chamber for processing of evidentiary fingerprints from MyStar, Inc., 1200 Telecom Drive, Creedmoor, North Carolina, and proposed by Detective Captain Smith for the amount not to exceed $7,775 per their quote dated February 15th, 2022, and which will be paid for with funds from the Division of Criminal Justice Services grant award, which includes federal support from the FFY 2018 Burn Memorial Justice Assistance Grant.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. We'll move on to communications as soon as the clerk's ready.
Good.
Okay, 636 through 638, received and filed. 639 is planning committee. 640 is resolution tonight. 641, received and filed. 642 and 43, resolution tonight. 644, received and filed. 645, planning committee. 646 all the way through 652, received and filed. 653 and 54, planning committee. 655, received and filed. 656 and 657, resolution tonight. And then 658 through 660, received and filed. And the last one, 661, is a resolution this evening. At this point, we'll ask anybody in the audience that would like to speak about any subject matter. You have a 5-minute limit. You come up to the microphone, give your name and address, so the town clerk can report. So at this time, I'll look for any raised hands. Yes, sir?
Can I go out there?
Yes, please. Yeah, we're live streaming, so people can hear you.
Okay.
Who's
This
what?
only takes.
Yeah, sure.
I'm a senior citizen, of course.
Name and address?
Oh, Patrick McGinley, at 2 Deepwood Place in Lancaster.
Thank you.
By the way, we've been the victim of those outages he talked about, all summer long. But I'm here to speak about the aged senior exemption that the town allows us seniors. They've been gracious, but that number hasn't changed in a number of years. I had always qualified for the exemption until this year. And what caused me to be unqualified this year is the COLA increase in my Social Security. So my little Social Security increase pushed me about $150 over the $35,400 threshold, and I'm not qualified anymore. And I'm just asking the town board to consider raising those thresholds in future sessions.
So I could comment a bit. So our assessor has been receiving some complaints about this, and she's asked to speak to the town board. I believe that's going to be next work session. I think she's going to come in to speak with us. So
That would be great, because if us Social Security recipients get, I don't know, an 8% increase next year, there'll be that many more people that'd be pushed above the bottom threshold and will not qualify. So thank you for your time.
you're welcome, and thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak? I'll ask for a second time and a third. Can I ask for a motion to go into executive session for the two proposed?
Motion to go into executive session?
May I have a
I will
second?
second that.
On the roll, please.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Leary?
Yes.
Councilmember Mazer?
Yes.
Supervisor Rufino?
Yes. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks for attending.
I'm going to, with your permission, invite Captain Smith in.
Yes, sir.
One of these things pertains to the police department.